News. I'm Justin from Juicy Killer Monster. We've even got Lucy here today in the background eating some toast.
Hello.
You alright, Luz?
Yeah.
If you're watching today, if you're watching on the playback, thank you very much for watching on playback. I know not everyone can make it. Everyone starts work at 8, 9 o'clock. But this is a relaxed format of you getting today's latest news, me putting my spin on it, my 2 bobs worth, you having your say, obviously in the comments if you're on the live stream, but if not, just getting informed in a relaxed manner that isn't so serious in life. So, what day is it today? Thursday, isn't it? So it's Thursday the 12th of 2024. I got out of bed about half an hour ago. I don't know how these news reporters, I'm not saying I'm a news reporter, like, you know what I mean? But these news reporters that get out of bed at like 3 in the morning to get to the studio.
They have to be in London, wherever they're doing it. They're like 3.
Yeah, they have to get up.
Their makeup done and everything.
They have to get up at half 2, 3 o'clock. Their drivers pick them up, right? Take them to the studio. They get makeup put on them and all this for like hours before they start. I couldn't do that, mate. I couldn't do that. But anyone who's on, good morning and welcome. And we're going to have a look at the latest news today. So, the first story today is phone snatchers using sticky gloves as e-bike and e-scooter crimes soar.
Sticky gloves?
Sticky gloves. So you know all these people go around in these electric bikes and e-scooters nicking people's mobile phones. You're walking through London like this. Somebody goes past, they've got sticky gloves that go, whoosh, take it. And they shoot off and people can't catch them. Let's read about it and see what they say. It seems to be getting a bit out of control. E-bike and e-scooter crimes soar 730% in 5 years. Almost 1 robbery a day was carried out by a suspect riding an e-bike in London last year. Hey, Jamie, how you doing, brother? Thank you for joining us today. You're the first messenger, and then we got Lucy as well.
Hello.
You pipped her to the post, Jamie. Well done. So we're talking about e-scooter thefts. People going around London nicking the phones off people on e-bikes and e-scooters. Let's have a read of it. So we're out on the street for a matter of seconds before PC's David Parker and Jake Dean shoot off on their bikes through the pre-Christmas traffic. They are in pursuit of an e-scooter being ridden on the pavement near London's Liverpool Street Station. For those that don't know, it is illegal to use privately owned e-scooters in public place. So I told you about this.
That's ridiculous.
Because Lucy wanted one of these e-scooters, but I said to her, it's illegal. You can only do it in public land.
What's the point of having one then if you can only use the ones that are issued by the council?
That's it. See, you got to be aware of this, because if you got a driving license, like if you've passed your driving license, if you got a driving license and you're caught on one of those e-scooters without insurance, tax, and MOT, it's the same as driving a car without it. Zek, it's Tuesday, innit? It's Tuesday.
Hey. It's Thursday.
Jamie said he's hired a scooter in London because it's so busy. So I tell you, I really want one of those scooters, and I will get one, but I think I'm going to get one with an off-road tyres so you can take it off-road down the woods and stuff.
That'll be fun.
But anyway, let me get back in the story. Thanks for joining us, everyone. So it's illegal to use privately owned e-scooters in public in the UK. The officers seize it and take it to the Cage, a lockup behind nearby Bishopsgate police station, from where it will be taken away and crushed. Then the officers are straight onto their next target, a powerful e-bike that can reach speeds as far higher than 15.5 miles per hour allowed by law. Some of them do 30, 40, 50 mile an hour, mate. I've seen them. Zach says that was great, thanks. Jamie said he hired a scooter in London. It was busy. He says hello, Luce. City of Beast Boy. Hi, I'm from India. I need some help. Please help me for my education. I don't have father and mother. Please help me. Yes, Beast Boy, we will, brother. Watch our content and you will learn. All right. So I'm going to educate you with some news at the moment. We're talking about the e-scooters and the thefts in London. People are stealing mobile phones using their getaway vehicles, e-scooters and e-bikes. So City of London Police Sergeant Stu Ford says they could be out doing this all day, every day. They've confiscated more than 400 electric vehicles, which can hit speeds of up to 75 miles per hour.
That's fast, isn't it?
Imagine doing 75 miles per hour on an e-scooter.
I'd fall off.
In the 18 months since he relaunched the force's bike unit to help tackle phone snatching along with drug and road offences. Yes, I'll help you, Beast Boy. Don't worry, mate. I'll help you. Definitely. Many of those belonged to food delivery riders or commuters. If you can get your messaging up, darling, have a chill out. Just answer any questions, please, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Including a high-powered stockbroker who he says may not have been aware they were breaking the law, but they're also being used for all sorts of criminality, adds Sergeant Ford. Well, you see, that's part of the problem there, see? So anyone who just wants to ride an e-scooter now is going to be looked at a potential thief. You know what I mean? They're going to be seen as a potential thief because everyone's getting their stuff nicked by people with e-scooters. So figures obtained by Sky News suggest crimes involving e-bikes and e-scooters have soared by more than 730% in the last 5 years. The data released by police forces in England and Wales in response to freedom of information requests reveals tens of thousands of offences, such as theft, robbery and burglary, have been linked to the vehicle since 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've got this is what you call a southern accent in the south of the UK. But if you watch what we're doing, you'll see what we're doing, and just pick up where you can, my mate. So the figures also include crimes such as drug trafficking, stalking, arson, sexual offences including rape, violent crimes and weapons offences. Sergeant Ford says he's not surprised by the rise in crime with the availability of electric vehicles so much greater than 5 years ago. Cool. Not like ours up north. Yeah, so just a quick one with accents. So when you're a southerner, you talk like this, or you go, if you're from the countryside, you go, "Hello, mate, I talk like this. I'm from the southwest of England." And then Londoners talk like this, and I talk like this because I'm a mixture of everything. But Jamie, like he says, he's up north. So if you're from Yorkshire up north, you talk like this because you're from Yorkshire. My granddad was Stanley Davies. He was up north, he were. And then if you're from Birmingham, you go a bit like this, a bit faster. If you're a bit of Brum, you're from Birmingham like that. And if you're from Liverpool, you talk like this. This is what you talk like if you're from Liverpool. So there's a good mixture of accents all over the UK. Jamie says, I hate Cockney accent. To be honest, yeah, it does. It is a bit.
It's strong, isn't it?
Yeah, Cockney accent, mate, is like, it's like, come on, mate, you know what? It's a bit, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I know what you're saying, Jamie. I know what you're saying. And it's not just because you're north and we're south. It's, you know what I mean? I get it. Best accents are Essex, Scouser or Newcastle. So let's try just for Jamie, let's try these accents. So he said Essex, Scouser or Newcastle. So I'm from Essex, and when I'm from Essex, I talk like this, and I got white stilettos, and he messaged me, but he never messaged me back. What a liberty, what a liberty. That's Essex. Scousers talk like this. I'm from Wirral. Hey, what do you mean? What do you mean you took my shandy? Right, that's Scouser. And Newcastle. Why, aye, man, I saw it from the Geordie. It's Newcastle, not Newcastle. It's Newcastle. I may not see everything else right in life, but I tell you what, when it comes to Newcastle, that's how you see it. And it's the only one that I know that everybody else don't know is Newcastle. So there we go. Right, back to the story. It was just for you, Jamie, all right? He says criminals are attracted to these scooters because of their relative low cost compared to motorbikes or mopeds. A good model can sell for under £1,000 and discreetness. They're not picked up by an automatic number plate recognition, ANPR. So,
just quickly, I need to go because I need to take Hannah to college.
Yeah, all right, Liz.
So I'll see you guys later.
No problem, Steve. Yes, Beast Boy. Beast Boy, I am listening to you, my friend. The best way to learn, I've always found, is just to listen to what I'm saying. One, you'll pick up on my English speaking accent, and two, you'll learn what's going on in the world's news. So I'm going to carry on reading, and hopefully you get something out of it, my mate. So it says the number of incidents have risen year on year involving e-bikes and e-scooters has grown more than eightfold in 5 years. A total of 11,266 crimes were recorded in the year 2023-2024 that mentioned electric bike, e-bike, electric scooters or e-scooters. According to data released by 36 of the 43 territorial forces in England and Wales. In one incident in North Wales last year, a woman and her partner were followed by two males on an e-bike who was holding a knife in an apparent bid to steal their scooter. The same force disclosed details of crimes, including a victim who was robbed of his e-bike by people brandishing machetes and knives, and another who was repeatedly punched to the head by an offender who tried to steal his electric vehicle. Yep, listening is good for education. So, Beast Boy, just like Jamie said, if the best way to help you and educate you is to listen to what I'm saying, try and pick up the lingo. I mean, you're doing better than me. If I try listening to somebody else in any other language, I just, you know what I mean? I can pick certain words out, but I'm never fluent in any other language. But there you go. Yep. No probs. No probs, Beast Boy. Just listen in, mate. Listen in. So the true figures will be far higher as two of the country's largest forces, the Metropolitan Police and West Midlands Police, were unable to supply data. Separate figures released by the Met, however, show 352 robberies, or around one a day, were committed last year in London alone by a suspect riding an e-bike. The figure was a rise of more than 40% from the 250 robberies in 23, 260% increase from the 97 the previous year. Well done, Jamie. Yeah, stay safe in India. All you can do, mate. Yeah, 100%. I'm not surprised there's a huge increase in crimes in relation to e-scooters and e-bikes, says Sergeant Ford, who acknowledges phone snatchers are getting very good at what they do. They're good cyclists who often use bikes that have been illegally converted to have a motor more powerful than the 250 watts, which is legally allowed. And even wear special sticky gloves so they can grab onto the phone, he says. So they've got special gloves that are super sticky. So when they put their hand out to grab something, hey, Javier Salinas, hello, best regards from Mexico. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah, we're talking about people with electric bikes and electric scooters, grabbing people's telephones as they're walking through the street, and they've got sticky gloves that grab the phones as they go. So the number of snatch thefts scored by 150%, with an estimated 78,000 people losing their phones or bags in England and Wales up to March 2024, according to the latest government figures. So let's say hello to Javier, Beast Boy, Jamie. Thank you all for coming on the live stream today. I know, Jamie, you've been on before, but just a quick reminder, we do live stream news Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock every morning, so join in. Also, we have videos and shorts as well, but it's your chance to have your say hello. So hello, Javier Salinas, hello, Beast Boy, and also hello to my good mate Jamie up in Birmingham. And everyone else who's joining in. It's good, isn't it? Jamie, how cool is it that with YouTube you put your videos up and people all over the world can see your videos? It's crazy. Absolutely mind-blowing. I love it. So Joyce Ong had her iPhone snatched out of her hand by an e-bike rider wearing a hoodie as she went to order an Uber outside North Harrow Station in northwest London on Halloween. It was dark, there was no one about, and someone came along from behind me, a dark, shadowy figure, and snatched my phone while I was calling an Uber, she says. He just rode from behind on the pavement at a very high speed. Joyce says she was left shocked and confused and also inconvenienced by not being able to use her phone to run her business. She says she reported the crime to the Metropolitan Police but got the impression they couldn't prioritise her case. 3 weeks later, she received a notification that her phone had ended up in Shenzhen, a city in southeastern China. They've got pictures of the people on the bikes, man. It's crazy. Jamie says, I've just started to film some stuff. Yeah, not best, I know, but still learning. Well, Jamie, what I want you to do, if you, and this goes for everyone on the live stream, but Jamie particularly, because he's just shared with us, look at some of my latest videos. Look at some of my earlier videos to see how we started filming. And look at some of my latest videos, because obviously it gives you tips on how to start a YouTube channel, mate, all right? And how to film and just how to go about it. Because we want to see your YouTube channel and we want to see your content and we want to see everyone's content on YouTube. If I'm not producing stuff for YouTube and editing and uploading videos, I am consuming YouTube and learning all the time. Okay, so let's have a look. Woody, thanks for that. Not confident on camera though. Well, the best thing to do, I tell you what to do, right? This is my top tip for Jamie and everyone else watching. If you're not confident on camera, okay, what I want you to do is film a video at least 8 minutes long. And I want you to grab your camera on your phone, and I don't want you to be in the shot at all, okay? And I want you to turn it round and just face forward. And I want you to go to the woods or something like that, or somewhere that looks quite nice. And I want you to walk around for 8 minutes, just filming, just constant filming, no editing or anything else. Just walk around, just filming, okay, for 8 minutes of a nice part of a walk. Just walking, you don't have to talk or anything. It's called a POV video, point of view video. So it's the viewer is immersed and it's as if they're walking through. You don't have to be on the camera. You don't have to say anything. It's called a POV video. Put that up as your first video and see what happens. All right, best advice for you. So carrying on with this, she says, I do think the Met Police may not have all the resources they need. It seems to be getting a bit out of control, she says. The Met said they're taking action to clamp down on phone thieves and robbers with proactive and neighbourhood policing teams increasing patrols, including in plain clothes. We're also working with local businesses to share information and using a range of tactics and technologies to bring perpetrators to justice. Last month, the force said Kamani Wilson, 22 from Brent. Hey, Pete's on. Hello, Pete. How you doing, mate? Good day. And Javier says, thanks, guys. Very interesting. 2 a.m. here. Time to sleep. Thanks. Thank you, Javier. Well, if it's too late for you, I understand you got to go to bed. It's currently 9:10 here in the UK. So thank you very much for watching. But like I say, if you want to watch the rest of this, it saves as a video afterwards straight away. And you can watch it when you wake up during the day. But thank you very much for taking part. Hello, Pete. How you doing, brother?
Hi, Pete.
Missed you yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, where's Pete?
It's the weather girl.
No, I'm not the weather girl.
Right. So last month, the force said Kamani Wilson, 22 from Brent, northwest London, and Claude Parkinson, 25 from Islington, North London, were jailed after committing mobile phone robberies and thefts while riding e-bikes in the upmarket borough of Westminster, Kensington and Chelsea. Sergeant Ford insists police are catching up with his team and also enjoyed some high-profile successes, while other forces around the country are coming to him for advice. So we could talk about that till we're blue in the face, couldn't we? But yeah, so that was basically people nicking mobile phones, stealing other people's mobile phones, okay, going around on e-bikes and e-scooters and getting away, and they can't be tracked by the police because they haven't got number plates or anything like that. So it's the crime is on the rise. So how is everyone doing today? Jamie said, would you ever film your hometown like Hidden Gems, or would Lucy try that?
I'm going to do that.
I dared to speak, though. I dared to answer my own question. If you could just like those. Yeah, if you look back If you look through our videos, there's two videos there. There's a couple. They're actually labelled POV videos, through the woods POV videos. If you have a look, that'll give you a perfect example of how to do it. But you can do it walking around the town as well. You haven't got to say anything. You haven't got to be on the camera. And it's a really good way to get you used to film if you're not confident on the camera, which is fine. Because not everyone's confident straight away. It's a journey. We're all on a journey, aren't we? So let's have a look here.
I'm not that confident behind the screen, really. Not really. But I'm getting more used to it now.
There you are. Come up here, Don. Speak to me.
I'm getting more used to it, but I'm not that confident behind the screen, really.
It's my beautiful wife, Lucy.
I just act silly all the time.
Don't I?
Yeah, you do. Let's have a look here. Let's look at the next stories.
Hello,
So,
baby.
Pete says, "G'day, mate. Sunburnt. You wouldn't know that. How you doing, Pete? Apart from the sunburn, brother. How you doing? How are you doing, Jamie? What have you both got planned for today? Javier's probably gone now. Beast Boy's probably gone. But what is everybody up to while I look for the next story?
Shall I tell you what I'm up to?
Yeah, go on then.
I'll tell you what I'm up to.
I'm taking Hannah to college now, well, about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go and see my mum's grave because we've put a new headstone up. So I'm going to do a little video on that later on my channel, and I'm going to see my brother for some breakfast, and Justin's staying at home. That's
Very good.
literally it.
That was breaking news. That was breaking this. The
That's
breaking
literally
news.
it.
You'll have a good time, darling, won't you?
Yeah.
Pete's tired from work. Yes, mate. I know you work hard, mate. He's having a Taylor's Yorkshire tea.
Oh, very
He's
posh.
going up in the world, Pete here.
Very posh.
He's gone up with his bubblegum pharmacy vapes.
We'll start calling
Careful,
him
careful
Posh
how you
Pete.
say. Careful how I say that because I nearly said something else.
We'll start calling him Posh Pete.
Yeah, Posh Pete from. You will now be called Posh Pete from Australia. Jamie says, "Haha, cannot beat Yorkshire tea." Do you know what? I used to drink tea all the time. Back in the day, I used to drink tea all the time. I never drank coffee. It was always tea.
Oh, not coffee.
But now I drink 1 or 2 coffees maximum a day. And the only time I have a cup of tea is if I go around and see my old mum. I'll go and see her and she'll put us a tea on. And the only reason I have a tea and not a coffee is because I've already had 2 by the time I get there.
Or as if she forgets that you asked for a coffee and she makes you a tea instead.
Yeah, she'll forget. Hannah just said she forgets. She goes, "Right, Jess, what do you want?" I'll say, "Mum, I'll have a coffee in a cup." And she'll be like, "Right, okay, no, what was it? Coffee?" Wait, "Yes, Mum, I'll have a coffee." Anyway, 10 minutes later, she'll turn around. "Here you go, Jess. Here's your tea with 2 sugars." "No, Mum, I said I wanted coffee with no sugar."
And then she makes me tea, and I hate tea, and that makes me sick.
Bless her, but we love her. We know what they're like, don't they?
I'm
Talking
a bit
of
like
coffee,
that already,
though.
aren't I?
Before you go, is it all right to have a coffee before you go, please?
A tea?
No, cough tea.
We're going to be late.
Have
Yeah,
you
I'll
ever
make you a
done?
quick coffee.
Have you ever had a cough tea? It's when you go to make a coffee, you forget that it was making a coffee. You put the water in, and then you chuck a tea bag in. When I was about 10 years old, my dad asked me to make him a cup of tea, and I went to make him a cup of tea, but I forgot I put the coffee in before it because I was only 10 years old, and I mixed it around, took it out, and he took 1 sip, spat it across.
Oh,
And I was like Tom Cruise out of Cocktail. I'd made my own coffee and tea infusion.
Not quite Tom Cruise, Dan.
Yeah, well, all right, darling. You know, all painting yourself, all right. Pete says, when I lived in the UK, all they gave me was tea. Went off it for years, but now I have tea every now and again. Yeah. I that's the kind of tea drinker I am. I'll have a coffee first thing in the morning. I'll have a coffee when I wake up. Maybe have a second coffee in the afternoon if I feel like it. Definitely no more than 2. And then if I'm visiting people, I just say, "Oh, I'll have a cup of tea because it's something different." So, on to the next story. Sarah Sharif murder is heartbreaking reminder of profound weakness in child protection. Dame Rachel D'Souza, the Children's Commissioner for England, is demanding urgent reforms, saying the 10-year-old was failed in the starkest terms, adding there should be no more reviews, no more strategies, and no more debate. We have been here before, and each time we have said, never again. Reacting to the verdicts, the Children's Commissioner for England, Dame Rachel D'Souza, said the case highlights profound weakness in our child protection system. In a statement, she said, even before Sarah Sharif was born, she was known to social care, and yet she fell off the radar so entirely that by the time she died, she was invisible to them all. Thank you, darling. Thank you, sweetheart.
I have tea.
T. Sarah was failed in the starkest terms by the safety net of services. Right, before I carry on, I'm just going to say goodbye to Luce and Hannah. Hannah, have a fantastic day at college. Luce, have a fantastic day with your brother.
Yeah, I'll take Marley with me.
If when you go, can you put the heat on and close the door for us?
The heater is on.
And can you turn that big light off, please, darling?
Yeah.
This is breaking news right now. What's going on in
Where's
this
my
house?
phone? Oh, it's here.
The heat is on, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. You shut the door then.
Yeah. Bye, Pete.
Lucy says goodbye, everyone.
Bye, Jamie.
Peach says, I'm watching YouTube's next big channel. Oh, you're doing really well. Thank you very much, Pete. And it's people like you and Jamie and Beast Boy and Javier and Robert Cook and Phil Ewan and Steve and all the other people, Ren and everyone else. It's people like you that help this channel grow. So thank you very, very much. Jamie's off. See you later, Jamie. Take care, brother.
No,
Thanks.
say bye to me.
Oh, you so. You say bye to you. Sorry, Luce, that I dare forgot about you for a second.
Yeah, don't forget about me.
Is the
That's
heat,
not fair.
Luce? Is the heating on?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh god, I'm really stressed out. What's there? Right, see you later.
See you later. Can you close the door, baby? Have a good day. Right, now them pair are gone. We can hear ourselves bloody think, can't we? So yeah, see you, Lucy and Hannah. Well done, guys, for saying that. He's got his air conditioner on. Yeah, I tell you what, I'd love to live in a country where, I love the UK, but I'd love to live in a country where you had to have the air conditioner on to be cool. That would be just amazing. I love Portugal, and we're going back there in April. We're going to drive down there with our caravan and stay in a campsite down in a place called Idananova, central Portugal, Idananova. Yeah, Jamie says he'll be out filming later if he can. Now, Jamie, it's really good that you're on here as well as Pete. So Pete is Adventures in a Ute. I'm sure you've seen him before. I want you as well, Jamie, to go on to Pete's channel, Adventures in a Ute. Pete has done many videos, but he's done a POV video of walking around Tasmania, okay, in Australia. Now, he doesn't feature in the video, and he doesn't speak in the video because it's a POV video, yeah, point of view video, viewer immersed experience. So have a look on there before you do your video. Pete says no, it's in Melbourne. I thought it was Tasmania. I don't know, mate. I don't even know my own name sometimes. But anyway, have a look at Pete's channel, and if you look at my POV video and you look at Pete's, you can see the difference, and it just gives you a really good idea. Because Pete, if you didn't know, Jamie wants to get into filming, but he doesn't really want to be on the screen yet. He's not really confident. So I said it's a good way for him to get into it. Right, let's have a sip of this coffee, or is it tea? Has she done a tea to stitch me up? Right, let's have a coffee. Right, back to the news. So this is about Sarah Sharif. The father and stepmother were found guilty of murder. Leading safeguard expert Simon Bailey told there were missed opportunities by the authorities to intervene. Quite clearly, the system failed because she tragically died at a very, very young age, where the indications are that it could have been averted. Mr. Bailey, a former National Police Chief's Council lead for Child Protection, blames not enough professional courtesy among social workers. Did they truly understand the significance of the harm that she was facing, and that ultimately saw the appalling injuries that she sustained? He asked, was information shared effectively? There had been previous allegations of abuse against both of Sarah's parents. At birth in 2013, she was made the subject of a child protection plan, something that happens where children are deemed to be at risk. The following year, her parents separated. Sarah was taken into foster care before being returned to her, first to her father and then her mother, as each parent accused the other of abuse. 4 years later, in 2019, a battle in the family court led to Sarah's father, Irfan Sharif, being awarded custody. Then in March 2023, Sarah's school made a referral to Surrey Social Services. Teachers had become concerned about bruises on her face. She'd given different explanations from them of 2 members of staff. So basically, for those that don't know, Sarah Sharif was a young girl that was murdered by her parents. Okay, her uncle was involved with it as well, and she was getting repeatedly beaten, this, that, and everything else. And basically, her young body couldn't take any more. They absolutely battered her to death, tried getting away with it, and the police arrested the mother and father on a plane, and took them in, mate. And they've just been found guilty of murder. So there's no allegedly, there's no apparently. That's what bloody happened, mate. So social workers contacted Sarah's father to tell him they were investigating before running a multi-agency check on her background. The case was closed 6 days later. Mr. Bailey says that decision will need to be scrutinised. They should then have looked at the cumulative risk that Sarah might have been exposed to, inevitably was being exposed to, and should then have been able to make a decision to mitigate those risks and consider what those child protection arrangements should look like, he says. That April Sharif withdrew Sarah from school. Months later, she was dead. The deaths of children who are known to social services have prompted major national reviews in recent years. It's terrible, mate, isn't it? Absolutely terrible. A report published this year before Sarah's death investigated the failures of social services in Solihull and Bradford to protect Arthur Labino Hughes, who died aged 7, and 1-year-old Star Hobson. Basically, parents murdering their kids, mate. You know, and mate, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Star's family believe lessons don't appear to have been learned. How can this still keep on happening? Asked her great-grandfather, David Fawcett. It's been 4 years since we lost Star, and I don't even want to think about the number of children that have lost their lives in that 4 years. Her aunt Alicia Zeppler tells Sky News. Yeah, Pete says it's so sad, and that situation's happened over here. Yeah, I'm not surprised, mate. I'm not surprised. It's everywhere, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day, you can't just blame the police. To a certain degree, social services can see what they see at schools and try and step in and intervene if they see it. But at the end of the day, nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. Once they could be saying one thing to people, saying, "Oh yeah, everything's fine," and then behind closed door, you can't stop. If somebody is that demented and that evil, and they want to go around and just kill someone, be it their kid or anyone else, you won't stop them. The worst that happen to is they'll get arrested, but you can't control what everyone does. And that's the scary thing about it. But yeah, I mean, the best you can hope for is that people see signs of things going on, step in and get the child to safety before it happens again. Dr. Kieran Murphy from the Association of Child Protection Professionals says social workers are coming under increasing pressure. When practitioners are being faced with 40, 50, 60 cases a day, they are naturally going to be prioritizing, and there are going to be errors of judgment, he says. Unbelievable. The massive increase in demand has come about over the last 15 years, particularly because of cuts to public services and public spending, which meant that there are less services supporting families. More families are being pushed into the system, increased demand for social workers. One of the big issues that we have to confront is we are not investing enough in the child protection system in terms of monetary spending. Now the trial has concluded, an independent safeguarding review will examine what more could have been done to protect Sarah. Rachel Wardle, the Executive Director responsible for Children's Social Services at Surrey County Council, said Sarah's death is incredibly distressing and we share in the profound horror at the terrible details that have emerged during the trial. We are resolute in our commitment to protecting children and we are determined to play a full and active part in the forthcoming review alongside partner agencies to thoroughly understand the wider circumstances surrounding Sarah's tragic death. Mr. Sousa has called for a series of reforms, including proper oversight for children like Sarah being homeschooled. We can have no more reviews, no more strategies, no more debate. When we say never again, we have to mean it. Let that be Sarah's legacy, she said. So yeah, as Pete said, there's situations happen in Australia. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I look back when I was growing up and you had the whole Jamie Bolger case and when I was growing up. And, you know, you look at certain situations you were in as a kid, like when you go around to, like I remember, I won't mention any names, but I remember we go to, my mum and my stepdad would go to the pub on a weekend, take me with them. And we'd go back to another family's house that they were friends with, and they'd have a couple of kids, and my mum and my stepdad had me, and we went over their house. And the husband of the other couple that were friends with my mum and my stepdad was fine drinking until we got on the whiskey. And he'd start having a couple of whiskeys like this, and then he turned psychotic, mate. He turned absolutely psychotic. Now, I'll be sat there about 9 years old, 10 years old, maybe 11 years old on the settee, and we go back to their house after the pub for like a couple of drinks. I'm not joking, mate. He'd be drinking beer, he'd be all right. And as soon as he got home, he'd start having a couple of whiskeys. As soon as he got on the whiskey, mate, he started like getting abusive towards his wife in front of us, grabbing her hair, going rah like that, like, and then stopping and then laughing, and then going rah like that and stopping her and then pinning her up by her throat. And you look back at things as a kid, and you, if you think how many houses there are along the streets and how many people it's happening to, don't bear thinking about, mate. You know what I mean? It does not bear thinking about. So Jamie said some sad happenings have happened over here this year. What's happened over your way? I believe you're up in Birmingham way, aren't you, Jamie? Yeah, it's all going on, mate, innit? It's all bloody going on here. All right, let's have a look. So I hope you're all not too tired from work, like Pete's been at work all day. Ah, he's from Yorkshire. Jamie's from Yorkshire. So Pete, do you know a Yorkshire accent from Australia? If you're from Yorkshire, you talk like this. My granddad, and this is a true story, was Stanley Davies, and he was a Yorkshireman born and bred, and he used to work down the coal mines to provide for his family at the tender age of around 14 years old. So got mass respect for you from Yorkshire, because that's where my granddad's from, Stanley Davies. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So the next story, Pete says not anymore. He goes, hey, not anymore. Let's have a look. Trump tariffs to have insignificant effect on the UK economy. So this story is about Donald Trump. He's in power. The tariffs he set on goods coming in and out of America and other countries as well. So let's dive into it and see the Trump tariffs to have insignificant effect on the UK economy. And Jamie says he's from Sheffield. I did a couple of races up in Sheffield when I was a kid. I used to do cross-country running, and we were up Sheffield all the time doing road races and stuff like that. So that's cool. Right. And Pete says his mum was from Bridge House near Huddersfield, Jamie. Quality. See, although one's in Australia and one's in Yorkshire, your relatives are just around the corner from each other. How crazy is that? And my relative too. Because if you think, all three of us, our relatives, are all Northern England. That's crazy, isn't it? So while the UK's decision to leave the EU is helpful in terms of damage limitation from any US tariffs, forecasts of a small impact are mainly down to the fact that 2/3 of our exports there are in services and not goods. Plans by Donald Trump to impose blanket tariffs on all imports to the US will have an insignificant effect on the UK economy, according to a poll of international economists. Economists. Oh, I'm learning new words, guys, every day. Here we go. Plans by Donald Trump to impose blanket tariffs on all imports to the US will have an insignificant effect on the UK economy, according to a poll of international economists. While policymakers at the Bank of England fret over the impact of threatened tariffs of up to 10% on UK goods and the prospects for a global splat. The study by Reuters suggests the UK could even be spared the charges altogether. Their reasoning, the news agency found, was explained by the fact that the incoming US president was focused on correcting US trade deficits with other countries and trading blocs. The UK, now out of the European Union, and the US both report goods trade surpluses with the other. Excuse me. The other major reason why the UK economy should get off lightly, they said, was down to the fact that the majority of UK trade with the US was in service rather than goods. The same cannot be said for the Eurozone nations. A similar poll last month found that the bloc would be collectively harder hit due to a goods-led trading relationship with the US, with the fallout hurting growth for up to 3 years. Even before Mr. Trump takes office, the European Central Bank is widely expected to act against an economic slowdown by cutting interest rates for the third consecutive time later on Thursday. That slowdown is being led by the Euro area's manufacturing powerhouse of Germany, which is facing snap elections amid a slump in demand for many key goods, including cars. The president of the country's central bank has warned that its economy could slip into negative territory if Trump tariffs are imposed on top. France is gripped by political deadlock that has fueled worries over its public finances. So, basically, now Trump's in power, everyone's worried about the tariffs, the tax he's putting on goods coming into the country. Because remember when Trump went all through this thing where they were trying to prosecute him? He don't forget, mate. He don't forget the people that slagged him off and had it in for him. And Pete says Tasmania has a town called Sheffield, very nice place. Isn't it funny that places in Australia and America have places named after places in the UK? So like you go to America, it's New Hampshire and stuff like that. In Australia, Pete's just said there's a place called Sheffield in Australia. You imagine if you're from Sheffield on the north of England and you move to Australia and everyone said, well, whereabouts in Australia are you moving to? You said Sheffield. They'd be like, hey, there we go. So yes, let's have a look here. I need 3 hands. I need one for me vape, one for me coffee, and one for me bloody mouse here. So Mr. Trump has threatened to impose the blanket tariffs from his first day in the office next month, arguing they will protect American jobs. How US trading partners respond will be key, and it will leave Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer facing a tricky balancing act. A fifth of all UK trade is within the United States, but the UK's biggest trading partner remains the European Union despite Brexit. the government has begun efforts to patch up relations, including relaxing trade restrictions with the bloc, but could be forced to take sides in any looming trade squabble. 4 of the economists questioned by Reuters believe the UK would be fully spared the 10 to 20% US import charges. China, Canada, and Mexico. China, Canada, and Mexico are facing even higher tariffs. Bloody hell, man. He's got it in for China, mate, and he's got it in for China. Bit of information for you. Do you know that Google and YouTube is banned in China? And Facebook and TikTok and all that. They've got their own platforms within China, but YouTube and Google are actually banned in China. So that's pretty mad, isn't it? I'll tell you who I feel sorry for. I feel sorry for all these countries that are getting tariffs put on them. But Canada, I watched one of these shows on Canada, you know, like gold divers in Canada, yeah? And she goes into the shop and she buys the stuff. Now, you may not be aware of this, but the price of buying stuff in Canada is absolutely ridiculous. So, you know, like in the UK, if you buy a pack of 12 bottles of bottled water, okay, like 400ml bottles of water, 500ml bottles of water, say you buy a 24 pack in the UK, what, it cost you what, £6-7? In Canada, it's like $75, right? Because to get the stuff into Canada, okay, when it crosses the American-Canadian border, you've got the transportation costs getting it from that country to Canada, because it's not produced in Canada, it's all from America. So they have to import everything in. And you've got the cost of transportation getting it through America, and you've got the tax on it as well. And now Trump's saying he could impose a 10 to 20% tariff on those products out there. Yeah, Pete, you're right. TikTok did start in China. That's why. So you're probably right about TikTok. Yeah, TikTok's in China, and I know they've got their own version of TikTok in China as well. It's called Dunyung or something like that. But when it comes to Facebook, Google, and YouTube, China's banned them. You're not allowed to. They're not allowed to do anything in there. I found out it yesterday. Yeah, Pete says $9 for 24 600ml water bottle from Aldi. Yeah, you look in Canada, mate, it's like $75. It's ridiculous. The cost of living out there is like crazy. I think like to rent an apartment out there in like, I can't remember the main capitals, what they called, because I watched this Canadian YouTuber, according to Nicole. And a rent, I think for rent, it's something like $4,000 a month. Something ridiculous like that. So here we go. So Stefan Koopman at the Rabobank said of the situation, the UK is relatively well positioned to withstand the repercussions of President-elect Donald Trump's proposed trade tariffs. Surely, as an open economy, the UK will inevitably feel the impact of a trade war, but likely to a lesser extent than countries that are heavily dependent on manufacturing the goods exports, such as Germany. Economists have widely warned that Mr. Trump stoking US inflation by raising tariffs, with additional cost of foreign-made goods ultimately being passed on to the consumers. While inflationary pressures in the US are already on tenterhooks, the UK is in a similar position. The Bank of England is widely expected to leave the bank rate on hold at 4.75% next week, following 2 reductions to borrowing costs this year. It remains worried about the impact of raised trade tariffs on the UK inflation, which is tipped to hit 2.6% next week from a current annual rate of 2.3%. Nevertheless, the economists and financial markets expect the bank to make 4 interest rate cuts next year as it stands, unless there are further economic shocks. So there we go. In summary, Trump is going to tax the hell out of everything coming into the country and out of the country. And ultimately, the consumers are going to be paying higher prices because of it. Yeah, China has their own type of Facebook. Yeah. Were you an election voter, Justin? Yes, I was, Jamie. With yourself? Did you know, right, because you just talk about election votes, did you know in the UK, if you're caught telling somebody who you voted for before you placed your vote, you can actually get done by law. It's actually illegal to share what your vote was before you voted. I think after you voted, okay, I think after you voted, you can tell whoever you want because it doesn't matter anymore. But if you actually tell people before you vote, and I thought this was stupid because everyone says, oh, who are you voting for? I'm voting Labour or I'm voting Conservative. But there's something on the voting slip that I saw, or something that I heard that says you can actually get in a bit of bother, not loads, but you get in a bit of trouble if you're caught sharing what your vote's going to be before you vote. How stupid is that? Freedom of speech, mate, innit? Freedom of speech. Right, let's have a look here. Do do do. Do 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 do. Pete says it's compulsory to vote here. You get fined if you don't. More conservative down your way. Well, you say that. So, Pete, yeah, it's compulsory to vote. Yeah, you're supposed to vote here. And I think, I'm not sure if you can get fined over here for it, but I think it's a case of if you don't vote, then you lose your right to vote in the future kind of thing. So they kind of forcing you to vote, like, and you get a reminder. It's like with the electoral roll. Every few years or whatever, they send you a bit of paper saying who lives at this address. So they can keep an eye of who's living where and everything else for credit reasons and tax reasons and voting reasons. And if you don't fill that out, you can get fined for not filling out your electoral roll information. And Jamie says, more conservative down your way. It's funny you say that because the last government that had Rishi Sunak in it, okay, we actually voted Conservative. But because of their performance, this one we voted Labour, okay? So we voted Labour for Keir Starmer. But I actually, on reflection, I wish we'd voted Reform. But yeah, so we voted Labour. And, you know, if I get in trouble for that, I get in trouble for it. Freedom of speech, mate. Let's have a look here. So, a quick sip of my coffee. And we're on to the next. Thanks for joining us, guys. Jamie and Pete, staples on the channel. You like family now, brothers. So thank you very much for staying on. And anyone else who's watching, feel free to take part, share, anything you want to say. Yeah, you're exactly like me, Jamie. I voted Labour and now regretting it. Lucy voted Labour and she's regretting it. So it's a quick one. Pete, I don't know if you know much about the UK politics, but Pete, if you were a UK citizen and you had to vote, who would you have voted for? Liberal Democrats, Labour, Conservative, or Reform? Who would you have voted for, Pete? And why? While we're waiting for Pete's response, if you're watching this on playback, thank you very much. If you ever want to take part in the live stream, it's 9 a.m, not 8 a.m. now, it's too early for me. 9 a.m. every morning, UK time. We live stream for as long as we want. And it's everybody's chance to interact and have fun and listen to the news in an obviously relaxed format. So, I'll start this story and I'll read out Pete's answer when he messages. So, the UK government demands immediate mandatory housing plans from councils to build 1.5 million homes. Councils will have just 12 weeks to provide a building roadmap demanded by Westminster as Labour targets 370,000 new homes each year. Any authorities that don't do so will have a plan forced upon them. So the government is today demanding immediate mandatory housing targets from councils as part of its plan to build 1.5 million houses by the next general election. So Angela Rayner, Pete said he always voted Labour. Good choice, mate. So Pete says, oh, we've got an intruder in the house. Right, Luz? What are you doing? Don't get this on any other news
These
report.
presents, didn't I?
Do you come and say hello to people?
Yeah, I forgot my brother's Christmas
She
present.
just dropped Hannah off at college. She should come back to take some presents.
I forgot to get them.
You forgot to bloody get
Now
them.
I've got to come all the way back to get the present.
This is the real breaking news right here.
Oh. Hang on, I'm just coming.
Shane Lightcap says, greetings channel. Hello Shane, thank you for joining us
Hi
today.
Shane. He's on Hannah's channel and my channel.
And
Hiya.
Pete and Jamie are still on. Say hello to them.
Hiya guys.
Cool. This is Lucy, my wife. So yeah,
Oh,
we're
I'm
gonna.
knackered now.
You gonna say a
Lying
quick
about.
goodbye?
Yeah, I need to go and see my brother, so I need to go. I'll see you later. Bye, Jessie.
See you later, love. Hello and thank you for joining us, Shane Lightcap as well.
Bye, Shane.
See you later, love. All political parties are look after themselves, yeah, not the people. I think the thing that does my head in, right, let's have a relaxed chat about this for a minute. The thing that does my head in with these political parties is they say, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. These are my set of beliefs and values, but if you want me to change them, I will, just so I get your vote. Because that's what they end up doing anyway. Yeah, Leadfoot Lucy. That's what they end up doing anyway. All they do is say the policies and everything else, okay? They say the policies they're going to say to get into power. Now, as soon as they're in power, a lot of the policies that they say change and they come up with brand new ones. Now, a good example of this is all the farmers are kicking off here in the UK. And I reported about it before last week. Quick summary. In quick summary, all the farmers didn't get inheritance tax on their land, so it could pass to the next family members without the family members having to pay loads in tax to keep their inherited farming land. Now the government said they've got to pay 20%. So if somebody's got £1 million farm and they die and they want to pass it on to their kids, the only way the kids can have it is if they pay the £200,000 tax the government want for you to keep your mum and dad's land. And all the tractors, all the farmers and tractors are outside Westminster beeping their horns, mate, kicking right off. Now, do you think Labour would have got in power if they said they were going to do that? No. They've come up with it and they've said it because Rachel Reeves wants to make more money because of the black hole finance. And that's the perfect example of what they say to get into power and what they do after it. Now, the problem with this Labour government is it's a wolf in sheep's clothing, mate. It's come the political party has come to power under the veil of Labour and historic Labour beliefs, yeah? But in actuality, in reality, it's a Labour government using conservative policy and tactics, and that's what people don't like, because if people wanted that, they would have voted Conservative, wouldn't they? But they didn't. They voted Labour. And Rachel Reeves is obviously in the Labour Party, but she's got conservative values, I'd say. So Jamie says, if you could move to one country in the world, where would you move to? Portugal. Me and Lucy were going to buy land in Portugal last year. But because of this Brexit thing, right, there's something called the Schengen rule, which means if you're from the UK, if you go to a European country, the maximum you can stay there is 90 days. It's called the 90-day rule. And then you have to come back to your home country for 90 days or out of the Schengen area. So you could go to like Australia or America or somewhere else for 90 days before stepping back into that area. Now, if Brexit hadn't happened, yeah, we could have bought a bit of land over there and go over there whenever we wanted. But as it turns out, what we're going to do is keep going back to Portugal every year for a couple of weeks at a time, just in our caravan, stay in a campsite. But we were going to buy land. We had lawyers set up, we had our tax numbers set up, everything. So, but yeah, Portugal for me. Right, so let's go in here. During its election campaign, Labour promised to build swathes of new housing to address lack of affordability and supply. And it will today release its latest version of the National Planning Policy Framework, setting out the government's home building plans. So, Starmer and Rayner to unveil plan. Has to be China for me, or Australia, or like you, Lucy, New Zealand. Yeah, I'd love to visit Australia or New Zealand. Always wanted to visit there. Not so much China, I don't think, but yeah, Australia. Definitely. So, under the NPPF, councils would just have 12 weeks to commit to a timetable for providing new homes in the area. I think she's turned around and said she wants to build 10 million homes in like the next 4 or 5 years. And she's like taking the green belt bits of land in Surrey that have been protected, the countryside, to put massive housing estates on. She goes, if they fail to do so, ministers will not hesitate to impose a plan upon them. The government said after less than a third of local authorities accepted a plan in the past 5 years. So Keir Starmer said, our plan for change will put builders, not blockers, first. Overhaul the broken planning system and put roofs over the heads of working families and drive the growth that will put more money in people's pockets. We're taking immediate action to make the dream of home ownership reality through delivering 1.5 million homes by the next Parliament and rebuilding Britain to deliver for working people. Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Secretary Angela Rayner said, I will not hesitate to do what it takes to build 1.5 million new homes over 5 years and deliver the biggest boost in social and affordable house building in a generation. We must all do our bit and we must all do more. We expect every local area to adopt a plan to meet their housing need. The question is where the homes and local services people expect are built, not whether they are built at all. So the problem you've got with the way I can see it is you've got the NIMBYs. Yeah, NIMBY stands for not in my backyard. So you've got these posh areas with lots of greenbelt land around it, and the government's buying up the land, compulsory purchasing the land because they want to build houses for people. But the people that got big houses there and that, they don't want it on their doorstep because they don't want the riffraff, around them. And they don't want it to affect their area, and they don't want to affect the value of their house. So you've got people called not in my backyards, and these are the people that protest against it. Pete says, come to Australia and bring your £10. Yeah, you never know. I might be sent there on a compulsory basis, mate. You never know. Crimes to news reading. Let's have a look. Ah, man. So it says Labour's plans involve an annual target of 370,000 new homes in England in a bid to find living space for 1.3 million households on social housing waiting lists. Councils with the most affordable housing and greatest potential for growth will have increased targets for building, and stronger action will be used to make sure plans are up to date. What is the grey belt? Part of the plans also includes a presumption that building on brownfield land will be approved. However, Labour is also looking to target building on the green belt, including on the so-called grey belt. According to Ms Rayner, this includes disused car parks, petrol stations and low-quality greenbelt land. So let's read a couple of the messages. Jamie says, what is your take on farmers? Well, on the farmers, mate, do you know what? I actually support the farmers. You know, they produce our food. And I know we all have to pay inheritance tax and stuff like that, and I believe there should be some kind of inheritance tax, okay? But 20% inheritance tax on like a £1 million, £3 million farm. And imagine if you're the kids from the parents who own that farm, and you're going to be handed a £3 million property that's been in your family generations. Well, if there's a 20% tax on a £3 million farm, that means if you want to keep that land that your family wanted to go to, you've got to pay 600 grand, mate. And nobody's got 600 grand in their back pocket, yeah? Which means inevitably you're going to be forced to sell your family's legacy to pay for it and then to get some money out. And where are those farms going to go? To overseas buyers who want to invest in stuff in the UK. Okay, it's dangerous. It could wipe out, all locally known farmers and the legacy of farmers that have, for generations. It could wipe them all out in the next 20-30 years. If you say every owner of a farm is in their 60s, let's say, and they all die by the time they're 90 and nobody can afford the tax, and it's, it could be completely overseas buyers only. So I'm with the farmers. Adventures in the Ute says, our Labour governments said they're going to build 300,000 houses, but it's not going to happen. Dave Finance says another 1,000 subs since yesterday. Yes, thank you, Dave. Thank you for noticing. We looked at our analytics last night, and like I said to you yesterday, our newer videos are getting a few views, okay, but our older stuff, all our older videos to do with our scrap metal and car booting, is taken off, and that's where the views are going from. We're getting lots of views, and because of that, people are subscribing, so I'm really happy. And it's not just from the UK either. Like this morning, we're noticing on the live streams, we're having people from Mexico, and we're getting people from India and places like that. So it's really cool that this channel is finding its route around the world. So we're really, really happy, and we're a completely inclusive channel. No one subscriber is worth more than the other subscriber. We want to build a really good community and connect with people we'd never meet in the world. So it's like today, we've got Pete from Australia, we've got Jamie from Yorkshire, we had Javier from Mexico, we had Beast Boy from India, and we got your good self, Dave. Whereabouts are you from, Dave? Dave Finance, whereabouts are you from, brother? How many views you get in a day? Shane Lightcap says he's from Ohio. Did you hear me try to say that? Shane's from Ohio, America, and Dave's from Bristol. So see, we're all connected. Where else in the world, apart from online, could you just connect with people like this? It's really good. But to answer Dave's Finance's question, how many views you get in a day? On average, recently we've been getting around, I'd say, 3,000 views a day. But something really great happened last night. The most amount of views we've ever had on this channel since starting it 10 months ago was, because you get the views per hour, it tells you how many views. The most amount of views we ever had, which was amazing for us, was 900 views in an hour. Okay, that was like rocketing. Normally, when the channel's just sort of going along like it does, normally we're at 50 views an hour, maybe 60 views an hour. Sometimes it can go up for more than that, the average. But yeah, recently it's been going mad, and we checked our views last night, and at 1 o'clock in the morning, okay, so it's obviously abroad from the UK because most people are asleep in the UK. But like I say, we love connecting with people. But at 1 o'clock in the morning, between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, we had 2,980 views in 1 hour. So hopefully that answers your question, Dave. So obviously, the more views you get, the more your stuff's getting pushed, and the more it's getting pushed, the more subscribers you're getting. So we're really pleased, because for a long time, like most channels, we've seen little to no growth. You know, I'll tell you about quickly. So for those that want a quick oversight of how this channel's performed, so I've had this actual channel. If you look at when I started my channel, it was like 11 years ago, but it was just a personal channel. When we actually started YouTube, filming for YouTube, was around 10 months ago. Thank you, Shane, saying that's awesome. Ty, everyone, for watching. Thank you very much. So we actually started YouTube 10 months ago. Now, I just filmed myself filming, collecting scrap metal, putting it on a truck and getting paid. Yeah, and that's all I filmed. Didn't do nothing else. We had our 4,000 watched hours within 5 weeks of starting, and we had our subscribers 3 weeks later. So we had our subscribers and our watched hours 8 weeks after starting YouTube. So we got monetized in 8 weeks. And then what we always had on our channel, we always had not a problem getting the watch hours and the views, but the subs always took longer. And then from after that 8 week point, we had one video get pushed from YouTube. It got like 80,000 views. And that did a lot for our channel when the algorithm just kicked in and just pushed one of our videos. And then we had a steadily rise from about 1,000 subscribers after getting monetized to around 2,000. But for the last few months, obviously there's been a lot of changes to the channel. I've changed the brand. I'm filming other things. I'm becoming more creative. I'm doing different subjects, which some people that originally joined the channel don't like, because they just want to see you put scrap metal in a truck, even though all those videos are on there. So they'll leave. But then the new people that subscribe are subscribing to the new brand and the new what the channel's about. So all those scrapping videos are still there for people to enjoy. And if you think about it, anyone that does subscribe for the channel from anywhere in the world can have the exact same experience in viewing that scrap metal as the people that originally subscribed to the channel. All they got to do is go back to the first video and start watching the videos, and then it's exactly the same for that way. But yeah, so that's what's happening with the channel. We get some views on our newer stuff. We've got lots of stuff we're filming next year, like car boot sales and making money again. But the car boot sales have died a death at the moment, and they will to around March time. But we'll be doing lots of car boot videos next year, as well as our YouTube helping people stuff as well, and these lives and shorts and everything else. So we've really put a lot of effort in to the channel. I'm working on it all day, every day, and it's starting to pay off. So really, really pleased with that. So thanks for noticing, Dave. Thanks for everyone for being on. So let's carry on reading about these the councils and houses they're going to be. So councils will also be required to review their greenbelt boundaries to meet targets, identifying and prioritising lower quality greybelt land. Building on the greenbelt will have to abide by Labour's so-called golden rules. Brownfield land must be used first. Greybelt land must be used second. Affordable homes boost public services and infrastructure and improve genuine green spaces. As part of the scheme, there will be an extra £100 million available for local authorities to hire staff and consultants and more resources to carry out studies and site assessments. This comes on top of a previous increase in planning fees to cover extra planning officers. Councillor Adam Hugg, the housing spokesperson for the local government association, says house building must take a collaborative approach. He called for any national algorithms and formulas to be supplemented with local knowledge. Mr. Hugg added that housing reform needs to be supported with work to tackle workforce challenges as well as the costs of construction. Trevor, Why the mustacheless beard? Well, I tell you what, it's good that you asked that. So I grew a mustache. Okay, I grew a mustache. You know these people, they get really good mustaches all across their hair. Well, what happens here? You see this bit here? I get a mustache to there, and then I get a mustache to there, and then I've got this big gap in the middle, and I look like Bagpuss, mate. And you know, it doesn't look like one mustache. It looks like you've got two mustaches on, going like that. So that's why I haven't got a mustache. Plus, I actually prefer it like this. Love it, mate. Love it. Got to have a bit of a beard. So that's why, Trevor. But thanks for messaging. Cheese beans. Morning. Yeah, Trevor says mine was the same. It's quite common, isn't it? Who out there has tried growing a beard or a mustache, and you really want a mustache and everything else? So it would be great to have one. And I did have one for a while, but like I said, I just don't like the gap in the middle, and I kept running out of marker pens to fill it in. So yes, that's why I have a mustacheless beard. Oh dear. And Trevor says he was the same. Welcome everyone to the channel. If you just joined, we're talking about England's housing crisis and why the government's set to try and build 10 million billion trillion houses in 5 years, which isn't going to happen. Kevin Honenrake, the Conservative Shadow Housing Secretary, says Labour have consistently failed to deliver on house building. Labour will bulldoze through the concerns of local communities, he said. If Labour really want homes to be built that they are needed, they must think again. So Trevor says the gap is a philtrum. Is that what they call it? A philtrum. Well, I don't feel nothing on my moustache, mate, so it must feel something. So a philtrum it is. Cheese Bean said, should get your items today, mate. Oh, yeah, cheers, Cheese Beans. Cheese Beans promised to send me a bag of used pleasure items that I could sell at the car boot. He promised not to wash them, so I'd get more for them. But he still hasn't showed up. I think the truth is he's prepping for Christmas, and he can't bear to get rid of him. Cheese Beans, can you? Pete says from Australia, I've got a full beard, but too many greys. Yeah, if you look here, look, I got a bit of the old Cruella de Vil coming through, mate. If that was the other side of my head, I look like Cruella de Vil. Got all me greys here, a few greys here. But what do? Got to embrace it, mate. Give it 10 years, I'll have more hair on me beard, on me chin than I will my head, mate. But let's have a look here. Just so you know, I won't go on about it too much, but you know Pamela Anderson's Baywatch bikini is going on display in London. So Pamela Anderson's Baywatch bikini is going on display in London. Oh, let's have a look here. Let's read this bit. So we talk about this. And Pete, I'm sure you deal with wildfires and stuff being from Australia. So look. Shane's had a little laugh. Mark pen. Yeah, I think I was going wrong. I was trying to use a pencil. I kept stabbing myself. Right. So Californian wildfire. Dick Van Dyke among thousands evacuated from Malibu blaze. More than 700 firefighters have been battling the blaze, with a further 300 set to join in and attempt to get the fire under control. Man, the pictures look apocalyptic, mate. There's a Chinook helicopter in amongst the fire and the smoke. Thousands of people have been evacuated from the path of a fast-moving wildfire sweeping through parts of California's upmarket city of Malibu. Among those forced to leave their homes were Hollywood actor Dick Van Dyke, who turns 99 on Friday, and his wife Arlene, while singer Cher reportedly also fled the area. Cheesebee says there's a few used butt plugs. Also, and some well-used nipple clamps on their way to you. Should easily get a tenner at the boot sale. Yes, mate. I'm keeping them bad boys. Why would I sell them? Mind you, for a set of I was going to say breast clamps. For a set of nipple clamps, mate, I need a set of jump leads. The old man boobs have got out of control. You know what I'm saying? Can't be doing with no little pony Meccano ones. Let's have a look here. Among those forced to leave their homes were Hollywood actor Dick Van Dyke, who turns 99 on Friday, and his wife Arlene, while singer Cher reportedly also fled the area. Pete says, "Yep, had too many bushfires. It's eerie driving through embers falling down on the car." Yeah, mate. Horrible. Mary Poppins and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang star Dick Van Dyke wrote on Facebook, "Arlene and I have safely evacuated with our animals, except for Bobo, who escaped while we are leaving. We're praying he'll be okay and that our community in Sarah Retreat will survive these terrible fires." I think one of the worst things I ever saw was one of the Australian bushfires. And the camera crews were driving through filming, and you saw a little koala, little marsupial, a little koala at the bottom of a tree, and he either didn't know the danger, right? He was walking towards the fire or alongside it on the hot ground, and all his paws were burnt up, like all scarred up and everything. And I think they picked him up and took him to the vet, but he just looked dazed and confused, like his whole world had ended, because they live in the woods, don't they? Live in the forest. And it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. But this isn't the first one at Malibu's had, is it? That actor, that Scottish actor, what's his name? Gerard Butler. You know Gerard Butler? When they had those Malibu fires a couple of years ago, he had a house in Malibu, and you saw the news filming him as he went back to the property. It burnt down, mate, completely burnt to smithereens. So he was a victim of the fire as well. Yeah, Black Friday bushfire, it's horrific. Safe prayers to your brother out there, because obviously, because it's hot all the time, it just takes the smallest of spark or man-made people setting fires to kick it off. While we're talking about fires quickly, and we'll carry on reading this story, but you know, I'll talk about Portugal, that's another hot country. Well, they have loads of fires, mate, loads of bushfires, yeah? Because what you've got out there's many reasons, but what you've got is they've got olive trees, yeah, but they've got eucalyptus trees. You're going to get eucalyptus oil. Well, else obviously comes from the eucalyptus tree. So what they do is, those eucalyptus trees in the wind and the heat, they give off vapor of the oil. And all it takes, mate, is one little bit of fire, one disregarded cigarette, yeah, and it catches, mate, and it causes mass wildfires. You see them going up the mountains, and they've got all these helicopters and planes that pick up the water. So they have loads of wildfires in Portugal. But it actually turned out, right, and this was happening when we went out there last year, and we're going out there again in 4 months. But it actually turned out there was a Chinese guy going around Portugal, I think it was Chinese or Vietnamese, and he got arrested for it, allegedly, apparently. And he was going around and causing the fires, setting the fires, yeah, which were absolutely wiping out people's properties, killing people, decimating the area. Pete says, yeah, they explode in fires. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's like you got to be careful with those eucalyptus trees when you cut them down. If you use a chainsaw on a hot day on a eucalyptus tree, mate, yeah, go up in bloody sparks. You want to be using a handsaw, mate. Yeah, and Shane says it's horrible. Yeah, people are going around, mate, just causing fires. If there's an app, they've even got a fire. It's that bad in Portugal. They've got a fire app where it tells you where the local fires are at the time. So you go on this fire app for Portugal, check it out, right? And it tells you where the fires are and if the services have been alerted and are already at the scene. But I'll tell you something else with Portugal as well, because I know a lot about Portugal because I was going to live there. what was I going to say? Yeah, so with the fires, there's an app, so you can see where the fires are. But do you know, if you know, like people in their backyards, they have fires. They put some leaves together or some bits of wood, and you have a fire. If you have a fire on your land in Portugal, you have to notify the fire authority, or at least put it on the app and explain there's a fire there, because somebody will report it who doesn't know. They'll see the smoke and they'll think it's a wildfire, and then you'll have the helicopters over you trying to put your fire out, and you get fined. So you actually, in Portugal, you have to alert the authorities when you have a fire in your back garden. Yeah, like even just burning a bit of wood. Hot shit out there, mate, I tell you. Let's have a look. More than 700 firefighters have been tackling the brush blaze named the Franklin Fire by authorities, which has engulfed nearly 2,700 acres of land so far. Another 300 firefighters are set to join the battle to contain the blaze, which officials say is not yet under control. The fire, which at one point threatened the famous Malibu pier. Let me just have a water. I'm turning into Mary Hobbs off ITV, mate. Oh, there we go. The fire, which at one point threatened the famous Malibu pier, has so far destroyed a small number of homes, but has not caused any injuries to death. Los Angeles County Fire Chief Anthony Marone told a news conference today. Let me just put this shield on there. So yeah. So they got pictures of houses going up, land with palm trees. It's bad. He was lucky he didn't find any. In the Black Friday fires, a workmate who was a volunteer, his job was to check burnt out cars for bodies. Oh my God. Don't bear thinking about, mate, does it? You think you have a hard job and you think you have a hard day. Imagine being the guy looking for the dead bodies in these burnt out cars. Don't bear bloody thinking about. So thousands of Southern California residents are currently under evacuation orders. More than 8,100 homes and other structures were currently under threat, including more than 2,000 homes where residents have been forced to evacuate. Shane says, indeed. Around 6,000 people have been warned to be prepared to flee at a moment's notice from the fire, which is being pushed by gusts of up to 40 miles per hour from the notorious Santa Ana winds, sometimes known as devil winds. Jeez Louise, man. The fire broke out on Monday evening in an area known as Malibu Canyon. They got a picture here, right, of this car completely immersed in fire, mate, at night. It looks like something out of Hell Rider, you know, when he comes out on a motorbike and there's just flames everywhere. Looks apocalyptic, mate. So, Ryan Song, a resident assistant at Pepperdine University, said the power went out in his late room on Monday, and when he looked out the window, he saw a pink glow. The 20-year-old said, "I thought this is too bright, and it got bigger and bigger. I immediately went outside and saw that it was a real fire. It felt really close," he said, adding he was probably less than a mile away. Seeing the fire rampaging down the hill was obviously scary for students, but I felt like our staff was prepared. The university later said the worst of the fire had pushed past campus. Officials said the cause of the blaze, which is spread mostly through areas of dry bush and trees in the hills to the north of Malibu, was not yet known. After the fire broke out, it moved swiftly south and managed to spread across the famous Pacific Coast Highway. Wow. Well, thoughts and prayers to everyone else who's out there. Hopefully they can rebuild. Always happens around Christmas time as well, just to kick the boot in, doesn't it? So let's have a quick look here. And now for the weather. So in Australia, Pete says it's going to be 41 degrees on Monday, Probably going to get grass fires around Melbourne. Well, I'll tell you my story about high heat. So back in 2001, 2002, I was in Iraq because I was in the army. I was there for 6 months in the Iraq War after the Twin Towers. And it was like 40 degrees, 45 degrees in the shade out in Iraq, right? Now, basically, our camp was set up on a desert by the port. It was just sand, you know, and I'd be working there, grafting all day, and you go through. It was that hot. You go through 2 or 3 t-shirts a day because you put a t-shirt on, it would just be soaked wet through like you put it in the bath. You go and change it a couple of hours later, same thing would happen. It wasn't till the night time that it cooled down. And Jamie said 1,000 views in my channel already. How has that worked? Well done, Jamie. Good luck, brother. Jamie's got 1,000 views on his channel already. How has that worked? Who knows, mate? The mystery of the algorithm. I'll get back onto that question in a sec. So yeah, when I was out in Iraq, I got heat stroke. I couldn't find water to drink, so I was drinking cans of fizzy or a slush puppy or a coffee, and I couldn't find bottled water, and I basically dehydrated myself. Completely got heat stroke, got stripped down in the med centre, sprayed with water and fans at 2 o'clock in the morning, took to a Shiba hospital, woke up 4 hours later with a drip in me on. Baked myself good, mate, good and proper. But so yeah, Jamie says, Shane says, I'd watch you, Jamie, tried looking you up. Why don't you put your channel name, on here, Jamie, so Shane can have a look. And Jamie said 1,000 views on his channel already. How has that worked? So yeah, it's just how it works, mate. You know, if people actually knew exactly how the algorithm worked for YouTube, they'd exploit it, okay? But they don't. But it's just, there's a certain amount of luck in it. Like, we're getting lots of subs at the moment and lots of views. But for the previous 7 months, it was very, very slow growth or no growth at all. It's just how it goes, mate. You know, there's a certain amount of luck involved. You know, it's not worth worrying about. All you can do as a creator is try and create and be true to yourself and what you're creating and the message you're putting out there. Don't do things that you don't want to do just to try and get some views or money. Just stay true to yourself, otherwise you'll get burnt out and you won't want to do it. I do everything I do on YouTube. I'm a very organised person. It's from my time in the army. So I have things set out in a certain way, like a process. Like, I've got a process I've made of making videos and making content and when I do it. And I have a process of when I put my videos out and what I do for my shorts and what I do for my videos and what I do for my live streams. That's how my brain works. And if not, I have a meltdown. Jamie Puck says, not exactly 1,000 yet, just looked 825 views. Well done, Jamie. Well done indeed. So today's weather says it's a load of bloody dots going. Well, what are dots? It's got to be horizontal rain, isn't it? It says it's 8 degrees in the day, 6 degrees at night, and 26% chance of rain. What does that mean then? It's got 3 lines, horizontal lines with dots on. To me, that's saying there's horizontal rain. Oh well, we'll find out if it chucks down with rain, won't we? Jamie Parker says, are you using a camera or a phone? Good question. Let me just have my news report of water. I have used a phone for every single video I do, and including this live. The only time I don't use my phone is if I'm using my laptop for a live stream. I don't use my laptop for these live streams because I use the laptop to read the news from. So I use the phone because you get a better quality on the phone anyway. The camera in the laptop's HD and my phone's 4K. So the phone I used to use, that I did all my videos on before, was a bottom of the range Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Not very much RAM, not very good speakers, not this, that, or anything else. And I've recently, about, I think it's 3-4 weeks ago, updated to the phone I've got now, which is a Samsung Galaxy A55 5G. Really good for a phone, really good for everything we're doing on here. It's got 4K Ultra HD video recording. It's got all the effects on it that you want. The microphones have got built-in wind protection, so you know when you're walking around. On my old phone, it didn't have built-in wind protection, so if the wind picked up, it used to go like that, yeah. And with this one, it can be blowing an absolute hoolie, mate. It can be blowing an absolute gale, and you can still hear what I'm saying, like really clear and crisply. The sound on the phone's really good as well, really good quality sound. The RAM for the memory and the onboard memory are good, and I think I paid 335 quid for this in a Black Friday sale, but 2 weeks later I could have got it for 275 from Curry's. But oh well, live and learn. Jamie says, wow, some good quality videos on your channel to say you're using your phone. Yep. Some of my older live streams, you'll see the difference in quality from my older live streams to these ones, because I've obviously just using the webcam on my laptop for them. But on these ones, when I play these back, these are really clear, really good quality. And like I said, if you look at the first video I did when I went scrapping, that was, and all of those, every single scrapping video I've done was off a bottom of the range Samsung Galaxy. Now you can compare it, and what I would say is what you get with the bottom of the range phone. So you get a HD camera, okay, and you get the mics without the wind protection. But the problem you have with the cheap end phones is the stabilization and the contrast. So when there's a sunny day or something like that, it will focus in on the whites and it will flash like that. It looks like it's flashing through the camera. And then when you move around fast, it's all dotty and rubbish. But with this phone and this camera, mate, absolute game changer. The quality of it as well. And believe it or not, you know, people say like the selfie camera is lower quality than the outward facing cameras. Well, I do these lives with the selfie camera and it's really good quality, 4K camera. So it's there, yeah. So Pete says he'll do a beach walk and then you can see a real beach. So Pete's rubbing it in that our beaches over are mainly pebble beaches. We have got some sand beaches, but he's rubbing it in because he's got the golden sands of Australia, mate. And he just knows we can't compete with it. So yeah, I enjoy that, Pete. Put it out there. Let me know when you've put it out there. Just drop me a comment on one of my videos and say you've uploaded your latest video. Have a look, and I'll have a look, mate. And the same with Jamie and Shane and everyone else on here. What I want you guys to do, because I don't obviously see every notification that comes up, when you guys put out a video, send me a message saying, oh, I've just put out a video, this is my YouTube page. Then I'll go on there and I'll look at it, because that's what I'll be doing when Pete puts a video out. I'll go out and watch it genuinely because I'm interested, not because I feel like I have to. I'm genuinely interested and I generally want to see what you guys are doing and what your take is on there. And I'm glad if in any way we can motivate you to take your YouTube channel and be creative with it. I'm really enjoying it at the moment. But my free bit of advice as well, if you want to make life easier. Okay, now obviously my situation is different to a lot of people. Pete says he's using the latest GoPro. That's fair enough. Only thing you have to watch out for on them GoPros is when the files get corrupted. One, if you wear them on your head, if you've got a lot of heat on your head on a cold day, the lens steams up. And yeah, just watch for the files getting corrupted because The reason I like using my phone is because I film it on the phone. The files are in the phone. They're not transporting from one device to another. Whereas with a GoPro, you know, you get that corruption potential. And I've had mates that have had stuff completely, all their stuff go missing. So, but yeah, look forward to it. The GoPro is good. But yeah, my best bit of advice, obviously I'm in a different position from people because I'm now a full-time YouTuber. I'm putting all my time to it. So I've got all the time to put to it. But scheduling, yeah, when you schedule your videos, it takes a lot of pressure off you. And I mention this on a few of my videos that haven't come out yet because they're scheduled. Advice on YouTube. Now, when you haven't done a load of videos and you haven't scheduled them and they're not waiting to be done, you have this immense pressure on you, which is you wake up every morning, you go, I need to make a video. What can I talk about? When am I going to have the time to do it? Oh, this, that, and that. And it's like a stress that you've got to produce. But with scheduling, if you've got a day, if you've got one day, yeah, and you come up with 3, 4, 5 ideas for videos, you can film all 4 or 5 videos in that day, create your thumbnails, upload, do it all in one day. And when you upload it, say it's the Monday, you can upload one for Wednesday, upload one for Saturday, scheduled, upload them all on the same day, what date and time you want it to drop, and then you can take the rest of the week off. So now, just so you know, with this channel, I have videos scheduled all the way up until the 3rd of January, every other day. And then on the other days in between, when the videos drop, I have shorts all the way up until the 31st of December. So now technically, if I wanted to, I could take the rest of the month off and still have videos and shorts dropping every day. Like I say, I'm an organised person. I like being organised, but that's when you proper get into it. I seriously recommend scheduling your videos because it just takes that pressure off you. And Pete says he's got the S23 Ultra. Awesome. I'll tell you what, mate. I saw somebody's video. I don't remember their name anyway, but I would never share their name. I saw one of their videos on YouTube. Never seen him before. And some people go down the rabbit hole when it comes to kit. Like they spend a fortune. This geezer at a new channel, right? He spent £6,000. So it's more in dollars, probably what, $7,000, something like that? Or 12,000 Australian dollars. He spent 6,000 British pounds on cameras, lenses, tripods, handles, box lights, editing softwares, computers, right? Before he made his first YouTube video. And so he's already in it for 6 grand, and it took him over 1.5 years to get monetized. And then in his first month of getting monetized, he made $110, which is about 50 quid. I think it was US dollars. So he made about 50 quid. Yeah, be careful with how much you invest in your stuff, because really you don't need anything more than a phone. I mean, Pete's got a GoPro, and that'll serve him well when there's inclement weather and stuff like that, or you just want it on your head because you're not going to walk around with a mobile phone strapped to your head. Do you know what I mean? So that works well for that stuff. But just start off using what you've got. Like we've got like over 350 videos on our channel that we've uploaded in 10 months. And I can tell you now, 280 of those videos were filmed on the bottom end phone. And the latest 60, 70 videos were filmed on this phone. So it goes to show you, to get monetized and everything else, you don't need good kit. You just need to have value in your content. Well, guys, thank you very much for taking part in today's live stream. A big thank you to Jamie and Pete from Australia, regulars on our morning show. Hello to all the new people, Shane and Javier and Beast Boy and loads of others that I should remember. But thank you very much for showing up, saying your piece and joining in the conversation. It wouldn't be the same without you. For anyone watching on playback, Thank you very much for watching on playback. If you ever want to join in the live, a message or have a shout out, feel free to jump in at 9 o'clock onwards in the morning, probably up until about 10, 11 o'clock, something like that, if you can fit in a couple of minutes, because it's your chance to voice your opinions on today's news and listen to my opinion. So we'll finish off here. Pete says, my job is physically challenging and by the end of the day, I'm knackered. I plan to go out after. Yeah, I completely get that, Pete. My job that I did, scrap metal collecting, very physical job. And people were lucky that I was able to film the video I was, because, you know, when you're doing a round looking for metal, you just want to get on with it. And it was proper slowing me down filming. Okay, and I just wanted to get round the round, weighing what I got and get home. So I totally get that, mate. It's hard to do it, you know. Jamie says, have a good day, Justin. Have a good day, sir. Take care, fellas. Great to have you on the chat. And I'll be back here. Pete says, enjoy your day. I'm off to bed. I will do, brother. Thank you, guys. And what I'm going to do now is chill out the rest of the day. I've got a video that probably dropped at 10 o'clock this morning. It's all copacetic, mate. All kosher. All right, so take care. And I'll see you on the next live stream tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Justin from Juicy Killer Monster, over and out.